Welcome to SQL Server Administration Basics. In this video, we will be looking into the SQL Server agent installation and Visual Code installation. So SQL Server agent, as we know, is the agent or the daemon which is responsible for running jobs primarily. So we'll be looking into the installation and configuration. We'll be logging into a Windows host and we will be opening SSMS through which we'll be looking into the agent status and everything. We have a new tool introduced called Visual Code, which is a client-based tool and .NET code running in the backend to connect to a SQL, through which you can create a database, run some scripts, or create a job. So we'll look into that in detail. Okay, so let's look into the release notes for install SQL agent on Linux. So we will. There are a lot of options or flavors of Linux on which you can install it. So basically, for installation on RHEL, you can do a sudo install of MS SQL agent after appointing the repo, and mostly that's it for installation of an agent. But we will do an offline installation. So we have downloaded the RPMs from the repo which or the files FTP server which we have mentioned before, and we'll just do installation of the agent RPM that we have already got. So we will use the RPM file, just key in the password for the sudo user and the installation will begin. Okay, so we'll check all the dependency and everything since it is through yum, and the installation is a breeze and it is installed. So now we'll try to log into a Windows server and check the connectivity for an agent. So let's log into a Windows box and let's try to connect to our SQL instance from this box. Okay, we will use a SQL authentication as of now. We'll key in the password, click on remember and click connect. Okay, so since we have not mentioned anything in the firewall as an exception, we expect to get this network error. Okay, so this is very basic and this is very normal to get this error. So what you have to do, you need to log into your console back and check the status of the firewall, whether it is running or not. So we'll check that using systemctl um, status firewall D. Okay, we'll key in the sudo password and yep, this should give us the status as running. So we now need to add a firewall exception for the server, for the service with the 1433 port, and we'll make this as a permanent entry. So we got a success, and let's reload the firewall. Okay, so now let's try to connect back to the Windows box. Okay, and now if you click connect, okay, this is how we get it. So now we got connected and this is how the agent looks like. So this is a Windows box from where we are logging in and connecting to the SSMS. So mostly everything will look much familiar here, but the core engine is running on Linux in enterprise. So that's the difference. Okay, so now let's look into the installation of Visual Studio Code. So you have downloaded the RPM from the link we have already mentioned before. So we'll do a yum install of the Visual Code. Okay, so we'll just give the exact path. Okay, and we'll click enter. We'll give in the password for the sudo user, and the installation will begin. And we'll yes. Okay, and the installation will begin. It will complete in no time, almost. Okay, we'll complete it. Okay, so let's log into the server directly. Since this is a GUI based component Visual Code, so to log into the servers, and you may not see the Visual Code installed directly, so that was expected. So we will log into the console again and we'll give a system restart, which is init6. Okay, so this will reboot the system and it will take some time before it comes up. Yeah, so now we'll try to log into the system. Okay, so here we will use the AD authenticated user SQL frenzy dot local, and SQL frenzy will be the user. We will be covering the AD authentication in our next videos, but just wanted to show you how to use a AD authenticated user. So we'll sign in, and it will take some time for the console to come up since the graphic user based components will be loaded for the first time after the reboot. Okay, so we see an programming visual code is installed. We'll open it up. Okay, before we begin to work on this, we need to import a plugin. So we'll click on the extensions, and we'll search for MS SQL, and then the first development plugin which we get, we'll install it. So we'll install, and it will take some time for the installation depending upon your internet bandwidth and the amount of CPU and memory that you have given to this virtual machine. Okay, so once the installation is complete, you will have to reload it. So you have two options to reload, either from here, or you can go to file and create a new file. Okay, and you can click on the left hand side to reload the window. Okay, so once the window is reloaded, you have to press F1, and this will launch an interactive menu, and you have to click on MS SQL and click on manage connection properties. Okay, so this will download effectively the connection or the profile that is, or the components that is required to create the profile, and then type create and click on this create. So it will start creating the profile. So first of all, it will ask for the server name. So you will give the server name and press enter, and then it will ask you the database name. We'll key in master, and yeah, and press enter, and then it will ask for the SQL login. You have to click on it and give SA, and then click again and give the password and click again. Okay, now you need to give a profile. We have given DBA, and then you have to press F1 again and then type SQL. Okay, you have to choose the profile DBA. Okay, and now we'll try to create a database. For that, you just need to type SQL create, and you will get a automatic complete, where you can see the template is complete. We just have to key in the new database name. We'll give it new DB, and we'll change the name below also in the template. So the new DB, we have to key in again, and yes. And now to run this query, you have to press Control Shift E. Okay, that will execute this, and you will get a message box or a result box where this will be shown. Okay, next we will create a job. So we'll select everything and then delete it, and let's first look into a couple of things before we create a job. Okay, first of all, we need to change the context of the session to MSDB. Then we first need to fire the command sp add job. So this will effectively, as the name suggests, create a job. The next we will need to call sp add job step. Here we will document what is the query that we'll need to execute as part of this job. Okay. The next we need to create a schedule. So we will do that by calling sp add schedule, and next we'll call sp attach schedule, which effectively will attach the schedule we have created to the job we have created. And in the last we will call sp add job server, which will request or which will confirm that the job will be running on the local server. Okay, so let's begin with the first step. So first step will be sp add job, as mentioned before. So as you see, there is an IntelliSense present. So a lot of things will be automatic. So first of all, we'll create a job by mentioning sp add job, and we'll give the job name daily system db backup. Here you need to make sure that the letters are case sensitive, and we'll just execute. Okay, so the first step is done. The next will be sp add job step. Here we will make sure that all the things are mentioned in the script. Here we have intentionally given the database name as master with a spell mistake, which will be eventually helping us to debug later. Next we'll add the job schedule, and then we'll attach the schedule as mentioned before. Okay, and in the last step we'll add the job server. Okay, now let's see how do we call this from SQL CMD. So we'll check first of all where the binaries are loaded, that is in OPT, MS SQL tools, and bin. Okay, so we'll log in there and then fire the SQL CMD. We'll choose the local server, username will be SA, and the password will be admin at the rate 123. Okay, so we're logged in. So now let's try to execute the job using sp start job. Okay, so let's fire the job and give the job name, that is system daily system db backup. Okay, here you need to make sure that the letters are same as you have mentioned. We'll fire go. Oops, it will be execute sp underscore start underscore job. My bad. Now let's try to fire it again. Underscore job. Okay, still going wrong. Let's try to give the schema dbo. Okay, still not running. I'll tell you. So this is why we need to change the context to msdb. So now you will see the job successfully started. Let's exit. And now if you log in to the folder or check in the folder where we are expecting the backup to land. Okay, we need to fire this using sudo. Okay, we'll key in the sudo password. Okay, I don't think we have permissions to log into that, so we'll try to browse this folder using sudo. Okay, so we'll give sudo minus ls ltr, and then we'll give the path as var opt mssql data. Okay, oops, the backup is missing. So it was expected since we intentionally gave the name of the database wrong. So now let's try to debug this. Okay, so we'll log into the SSMS and we'll right click on the database, job, and see the history. Okay, so in the history, as expected, let's go to the output and see a neat message that the database name does not exist because we give it wrong. So let's try to correct it. We'll open up the job and we'll go to the steps and edit this step. Correct the database name there as master. Click OK. Click OK again. Okay, and then go back and retry to run this job. Okay, so again log into SQL CMD, and this time we'll set the context to MSDB, which we have learned from our previous mistakes. Okay, and now we'll try to execute the job again. So we'll copy the command from above and we'll paste it and file this again. Press go. Oops. So you will get this because we have set a number of retries while setting up the job. Okay, so it's not unknown. We'll go back to the server and we'll log into the activity monitor. So if you go to the activity monitor and check, you will see the status as between retries. Okay, so yeah, so just go there and stop it, or you can wait for another 5 minutes so the job will stop again, but we'll stop it. We can't wait for 5 minutes. So we'll go back to terminus and now we'll try to fire it again, and this time it did start successfully. We quit, and if we go back to the directory, we will see a neat master.back there. So this is how in short we can debug the jobs in a Linux environment.